The following segments are pre-recorded and sponsored by Longworth Productions.
Major funding for Triad Today comes from Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina, making healthcare better for all. Jet Zero on Triad Today. Hello everyone, I'm Jim Longworth and welcome to another edition of Triad Today, coming to you once again from the Kernersville Auto Museum. We'll tell you more about the museum later on, and later on is when the roundtable shows up and we'll get into all sorts of controversies with those guys, but stay tuned. Great guests, great information coming your way. Where we want to start with a couple great guys, one you've seen on the show many, many times before. On the far right, Jimmy, I don't mean that politically, but it could be. Jimmy Flythe, who's Director of Government Community Relations for Duke Energy. Jimmy's special guest is Bill Norton, Communications Manager. Welcome, boys. Good to see you.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Jimmy, let me start with you. I understand Duke Energy is making a special application to the NRC, Nuclear Regulatory Commission. Remind us about the whole Blues Lake project.
Sure, yeah. So, I think we've talked about it on this show before. It's been in the newspaper, the front pages of the newspaper. But for a couple of years now, we've been evaluating a site that Duke Energy owns up on Blues Lake, adjacent to our coal plant, existing coal plant. And we're looking at the possibility of building a new, modern, advanced nuclear power plant at that site.
It's going to be great. Bill, let me go to you. I have a couple questions right off the bat.
Sure.
One is, what exactly is an early site permit? That doesn't mean anything to me as a layman. You're applying to the NRC. It's an early site permit.
So, just as the name suggests, it allows us to evaluate on the front end, before construction begins, site issues like environmental issues, earthquake issues, just making sure that the site is safe before you start construction. That really, it's a risk mitigation step both for Duke Energy and for our customers. We don't want to start down the road and have to stop.
And that makes sense, not just for you guys financially, but for the community and making sure it's not going to do anything to make them unsafe, right?
100%. The key, we've studied what other utilities have learned. We have our own nuclear experience, and taking care of those issues, just wiping that slate clean, if you will, before you start building anything is really, really helpful.
Okay, so then what's the time frame for the permit and even construction? What are you looking at?
So the federal regulators you talked about, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, they need to issue a permit within 18 months. So that's the time frame on their end. While they're doing that, we're going to continue evaluating potential reactor technologies. We're evaluating 6 different types. So we're not sitting back on our laurels. We're continuing to evaluate while the NRC does its own evaluation. So we're ready to move forward when they say go.
Why do people might ask you if they see you on the street and say, well, why does Duke Energy feel like you need another nuclear facility?
Well, we need nuclear and a diverse array of resources. Over the next 15 years, customer growth in energy need is supposed to be 8 times the level of the previous 15 years. We're the #1 state for business, the #3 state in population growth. I mean, people want to live here, they want to work here, and we really need to get ahead of that.
All right. Give me 30 seconds worth of interpretation of what carbon-free really means for the environment and for folks around here.
Well, the beauty of nuclear energy is it produces no greenhouse gas emissions. When you talk about carbon-free, you're talking about the elements that warm the atmosphere and lead to weather extremes. Nuclear is around the clock, and it has none of those emissions. So it's really beautiful for accommodating growth.
Jimmy, any final thoughts on Duke Energy's history and reliability?
Sure, yeah. Duke's got a great track record. We've been operating nuclear power plants for more than 50 years. In fact, people are usually surprised to learn that more than 50% of our energy in the Carolinas comes from nuclear power. It's reliable, it's clean, and it's just something that's going to benefit our customers down the road.
Absolutely, and also a shout out. We're actually taping this show a couple days after the last major snowstorm, and most people had no power outage, so salute to you guys for that.
Thank
Up on
you.
screen, a couple things, duke-energy.com/Stokes for some specific information on the Blues Lake project, and the general website is duke-energy.com. To Jimmy and Bill, thanks for all you guys do behind the scenes to help everybody.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after this.
I am so
Why
frustrated.
can no one help me?
Waiting
This is
to
a nightmare.
work. I think it's healthcare is broken.
At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina, we get it.
Really?
Really. That's why we're making healthcare better for all. Starting with you. Yes, you, Daryl. We're making plans easier to navigate by putting your benefits, prescriptions, and details all in one place. Convinced?
No. But it's a start.
We'll take it. Blue Cross North Carolina. Making healthcare better for all. Starting with you.
North Carolina's economy is growing, bringing new businesses and opportunities. The need for electricity is growing too. At Duke Energy, we're meeting the challenge, providing even more electricity that's cleaner, reliable, and that stays affordable. We're getting out of coal and reinvesting in our communities with a diverse, balanced mix of energy sources and making targeted upgrades to the grid so that North Carolina can thrive in a smarter energy future.
Back now on Triad Today. Always a pleasure to spend a few minutes with some of the good folks from Shift Ed who do such good work in helping kids around the area. And with us now, Ebony Burnett. She's Vice President of Strategic Partnerships for Shift Ed. Welcome.
Thank you. It's always good to be here.
Oh, it's great to have you. Now remind us very quickly what the mission of Shift Ed is and in general who you serve.
Yeah, so we boldly accelerate student potential. We serve children all throughout the county and support their educational outcomes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not just, a lot of people say, oh, I've heard of Shift Ed. They help with college scholarships and stuff. That's true. But I mean, you're helping kids from knee high all the way up, right?
Yeah, cradle to career. That's our goal.
I love that phrase. Yeah. Now, you emailed me something about, it's called Aligning Resources for Collective Impact. What is that and why is that important?
Yeah, so Aligning Resources for Collective Impact is an initiative that we have been working on for the past 7 months with about 30 community partners, including our school district, to align on shared goals and outcomes for students in the county. We want to make sure that they are on a trajectory of success and economic mobility.
All right, now you also had emailed me about that there's sort of 4 key issues that you're working on, and I'm going to list the 4 of them and just let you comment briefly on each one so I can understand it. Collaborative education is one of them.
Yeah, so with collaborative education, we are working with our school district as well as with community partners to think about how we can work together to meet the needs of students in the classroom. So bridging the divide between what's happening in school and making sure that our out-of-school time providers, our after-school programs, mentor programs are working well with students. So there's the bridge of the educational continuum for students. Yeah.
All right, another one is workforce pathways.
So we want to make sure that we have equitable pathways for access to workforce experiences for students, when that's starting from as small as kindergarten all the way up to high school.
Yeah, getting exposed to things like that that maybe they've never thought of before.
Exactly. They're not going to be able to do a career they've never heard of.
Sure.
Right.
Now, access to essentials. Access to essentials. What do you mean by that?
Well, we know that students who are not well, who are going to school hungry can't learn. So we want to make sure that students have the things that they need to show up to school prepared, ready to learn, to be fed well, to have the resources they need in the classroom to be successful. No child, no person can learn hungry. We want to make sure that all of our students have the resources and access to the things that they need to thrive in the classroom.
It's a tough goal though right now,
is.
Ebony, especially depending on, of course, hopefully the shutdown will be gone in a couple of days, but really that's a challenge for you, isn't it?
It is. But when a community rallies together, then we can accomplish some amazing things. Look what we did during COVID.
Yeah.
And look what the community is doing now around the loss of SNAP benefits or the holding of those SNAP benefits for now. So our community is rallying around our students, but it's not just food, it's also like school supplies and
absolutely.
clothing. All those things are important too.
Community empowerment was the 4th thing.
Yeah, so that's the whole supporting pillar for all of these strategies. It's giving families their voice, is making sure that families are able to show up in the classrooms, that they are showing up and they are advocating for the things that their students need at the classroom level, the school board level, the state level as well. So we want to make sure that families are engaged in the classroom and have a voice in we can't change these systems without without bringing in the people who those systems are, who are most impacted by those systems.
Well, absolutely. And just use your crystal ball. What's the next step for all this?
Yeah, so beginning in, we'll have a launch of the full strategy in December. And then from there, we'll be having some learning tours throughout the community. So going to neighborhood associations, going to Rotary clubs, and sharing these goals with them to talk about how they can plug in and get involved with this work.
We have a few seconds left. I ask you a personal question.
Yes.
What gratification do you get out of your job?
Gosh, I love working for children and families. It's what I've been doing for a very long time, and it is fun. It is fun work. But then when I see community partners and community members understanding the value of working with children and meeting children's need, that gives me fuel to my fire and just makes me just happy to see the work being done for our children and
Well,
families.
I just think what you're doing is great. Up on screen, shifted.org is the main website, shifted.org. Please check that out. Ebony, keep up the good work, my friend.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Always.
We'll be right back after this. Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you that Triad Today also airs on GTN Spectrum Channel 13 and streams on WFMY Plus, free on Roku and Amazon Fire.
The world's brightest are Fulbrights, Goldwaters, McNairs, and Spartans. Prestigious doesn't have to be expensive. UNCG, find your way here.
Fly local, fly easy, fly PTI.
We have Julie Felger with us from Jet Zero. She's head of government affairs. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
By way of what country? Tell people where you were born.
I was actually born in Zimbabwe.
Okay.
It was formerly called Rhodesia, so
That's
I have
right.
a Rhodesian passport, but
Right.
when I left the country, it was called Zimbabwe.
All right, there you go. Now, so it's an international show now. Triad Today. All right, folks that don't know, tell them what Jet Zero makes and what's so special about the jet.
Great. I'm happy to do that. So Jet Zero is making a large commercial aircraft. And what's different about this airplane is that it's called a blended wing airplane. We call it an all-wing. So instead of the standard tube with attached wings to it, the entire body of the airplane is a lifting body. So it wants to fly, and that's what makes it more fuel efficient. That as well as the
Very
materials that we're gonna use.
aerodynamic, and it's just so
Super
cool.
aerodynamic,
What
yeah.
what a cool design. Now, when this gets up and running, how many passengers typically could go in a Jet Zero, and what range can it fly?
So our Z4 will be our first commercial aircraft. That'll be around 250 passengers. Of course, the airlines can change the configurations around how they want. And when you think about this airplane, the easiest way for a passenger to think is we can go transcontinental, we can go transatlantic
Right.
with the airplane as well.
Now, why did Jet Zero select the PTI campus and the Triad? What made us a good choice over all the cities that really wanted you?
Well, I think that you all should be super proud because we did do a nationwide search, Jim, for this, and we started out with about 30 different locations around the United States, narrowed it down, and finally had about 3 finalists, and PTI just really kind of came to the top. And it was really a combination of the location, the work that Kevin had put into making sure there was great site availability, and then, of course, what we were able to accomplish with the state of North Carolina in terms of incentive packages that they were willing to offer. And then you also have a phenomenal labor force
Right.
here and a terrific education system, and that goes from your high schools to your community colleges to higher ed.
Right, because they're putting so much emphasis on workforce development, as we've covered in this show and many others as well. And of course, so you're sort of indicating that the state legislature was pivotal in this too, right?
They were.
Now, when will you begin hiring locally, and how will folks know when that happens?
So we will start hiring locally next year in 2026. What we're really waiting for is there's a building that's being refit, a temporary office building that's being refit for us at PTI. When that's open, that's when we'll be ready to bring employees in. So think probably second quarter
Right.
next year into third quarter is when we'll start hiring.
Let me put you on the spot here since
Yeah.
we just met. I'm curious because I think I saw something in your resume that you had worked for other airlines and in the industry.
Yes, sir.
So at what age did you develop an interest in the aero industry?
Well, I think the first time I ever stepped on an airplane, obviously was young, but the first time I flew internationally was when I was about 6 years old.
Wow.
And we came to visit the United States, and we stopped in Rio de Janeiro on our way here. And so I've had a love of aviation ever since then. And my true passion in life is travel and going and exploring different places. And there's only one way to really do that, and that's on an airplane. Right, so it's a wonderful industry for me to be in because it's a passion fit as well as an academic fit and pure interest fit.
So what's gratifying to you about this?
Well, I think that that's a wonderful question because it's all about reindustrialization in the United States. And I'm a very proud former employee of Boeing as well for many years.
That's right.
And I think it's important to do work that it gives back to the communities that you live in, be that national, state, or local. And in this type of industry, you're doing that all the time. You're providing people with a safe method to travel. You are providing thousands and thousands of jobs.
Absolutely.
And you're really having an impact on the global environment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I just think it's great. Up on screen, you can go to jetzero.aero for more information. That's on screen. And also a salute to the folks at Fly at PTI. You can go to flyfrompti.com. Please do that. And to Julie for all you're doing, and thanks for being here, and thank all your folks on your team for coming here. We appreciate it.
Thank you. We're excited to be here.
All right.
Thanks.
We'll be right back after this.
I got free meals. What do you mean? No, seriously, how much did you pay us? I didn't pay anything. I learned how to cook all of these fresh foods that were delivered to my house. Everything in that grocery bag that's fresh, I had a recipe for it, and I know how to cook. It encouraged us to eat better, to shop better, make better decisions.
Now boarding zone 3.
Where we want to start is I get to talk with two angels, and they are certainly that. And they are working for Mountain Valley Hospice. On my immediate right, Kelly Cahill is an RN case manager at Mountain Valley, and Mariah Tyler is an RN after hours. And ladies, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask both of you to reply to this very quickly. Who or what inspired you to go into nursing? Was it a teacher, aunt, uncle, mom, dad? So we'll start with you, Mariah.
Actually, my mom. My mom's a nurse.
Oh,
Also,
okay.
my grandmother was a nurse, so it's kind of.
So you got the whole lineage going, grandmother and
I'm
mother.
Third generation nurse.
What, any specialties that they were in? Or?
My mom did neurotrauma. Neurotrauma. My grandmother worked in a nursing facility for many years.
All right. Kelly?
Well, my dad wanted me to be a nurse from the time I was very small. He did X-ray technology, and he always wanted me to be a nurse.
How about that?
So I did that.
Now, Kelly, a lot of people don't know that this is when you help people who are in stages of life or need your help. And I went through this with both my parents. You guys will come in and go to the home and really get to know folks and help them. So Kelly, just very briefly, what's the first thing that people can expect maybe on your first visit when you're helping people?
Well, when we go in, I always sit down and get to know everybody that's in the room. And that's very important so that they know that you are the case manager.
Right.
That you're going to be the one with them through this whole process. And you're going to make them feel comfortable as you possibly can.
Because they're also the caregivers. They got to be part of your team as you're working in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a little hectic at first when we first get a patient because everybody's coming in. But then, you set goals and plans and explain the medicines and how hospice works.
Yeah. It's really comforting to know when we get somebody like you to come in and work with us and the whole family's around there and gets on the same page about caregiving and what each person can do. Mariah, give me an example, or just what do you think is maybe something that people misunderstand about hospice and hospice care?
I think a lot of people misunderstand. They think it's maybe just for the patient, but we're actually there for the families. A big part of what we do is being there as a support system to the families, educating them and empowering them on how to take the best care of their loved ones. So they call us, we come to them, like you were saying, we go to them. They don't have to go to the doctor's office anymore.
Right.
They're just a call away. So.
I'm going to ask both of you to sort of finish up on this, which is what's gratifying to you about what you do? And I'll start with you, Kel.
Well, I feel like that two of the most monumental times in your life is a birth and a death. And we all go through that. And I feel like that we as hospice nurses in the whole organization, we have one shot to make this a good experience for our patients and their families.
Yeah.
And because I don't want them worrying, I don't want them being upset. They have enough to worry about. They're grieving as we do this.
Right.
So I think that we have to have empathy, and we have to really put ourselves in their position.
Same thing. What's gratifying to you?
I think the most meaningful part of it is obviously helping them have a peaceful passing, and then just being there for the families. I find a lot of joy in being there for the families during this really difficult time.
And I'll remind folks at home that, not that these ladies asked me to do this, but Mountain Valley Hospice is a nonprofit group, and they do not turn people away who need help. Up on screen, mountainvalleycares.org is a website I'd like for you to visit, Mountain Valley Cares, or you can call 336-789-2922, and I hope you will do that. And to you two angels, and I appreciate what you do. I'm serious. Thanks for everything.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after this.
At Sutton Brothers, we're confident we can help you solve your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs.
So confident that we'll fix it or it's free. Our highly trained technicians will diagnose your problem and fix it with either a repair or replacement.
And if we can't fix it, you won't pay the trip fee.
So the next time you have a problem, call us.
We'll make sure you're completely satisfied.
Guaranteed.
Call Sutton Brothers today and be confident things will be done right. Schedule online at suttonbros.com.
Major funding for Triad Today comes from Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina, making health care better for all. The Roundtable is brought to you by Sutton Brothers, locally owned and operated and serving all of your HVAC, plumbing, and electrical needs. Back now on Triad Today, just about time for the Roundtable, but a quick shout out to the good folks here at the Kernersville Auto Museum. Come out and see it. It's free on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. You will love it. A lot of classics in here, and in speaking of that, there are three classics. Three classics right here. Dave Briggs, Dr. Don Martin, Dr. Bob Shackelford, and guys, thanks for being here, and let's get to it. Last week, a Carolina Journal poll revealed that nearly 80% of voters, 80%, support open enrollment. That's a system, as we know, which allows students to transfer from their assigned public school to another public school of their choice, provided space is available. Despite that, North Carolina currently ranks 50th, last in open enrollment laws. So, guys, would you like to see every school system in our state fully embrace open enrollment? Dave Briggs.
I don't know how they can. What I'd really like to see is community schools become more well-funded.
All right, Don.
Well, philosophically, I understand the concept. We had a public school choice plan here for 30 years with transportation and with some rules. The key is rules. You have to have some boundaries, and you have to have the devil's in the details. So you can't let just everybody come and then you fill up all the spots and the people who live next door can't go next year. You have a new neighborhood opens up.
Jim, I don't favor that. People are going to migrate toward the richer schools. The rich are going to get richer, the poor get poorer, and it's going to be back like the schools I went to before segregation. There were some pitiful schools and some well-to-do schools. We don't need to promote that.
All right. Last week we learned that on Christmas Eve, the president changed the postmark rules. It used to be that a postmark corresponded to the date on which we actually dropped a letter into the mailbox. Now the postmark reflects the first date upon which that mail is processed, which the four of us wouldn't know when that is. Are you okay with this new rule, though, Dave?
I'm opposed. If you put something in the mailbox, you should expect that it's going to be postmarked that night. So whether it's your taxes or your rent check or whatever it is,
voting,
it needs to be done. Voting, exactly.
Yeah.
And if they're going to do that, then they're going to have to put a time on this will be postmarked by blank time, date, blank date.
Don Martin.
Yeah, I think it's a really problem. The whole idea of postmarked by, you must do this deadline postmarked by, is totally destroyed. So it really changed a lot of habits.
Bob.
When I think about all the years I sat in line on April 15th out there at 11:55 p.m., I want the postmark to reflect me doing my part, not them doing their part.
All right. The House of Representatives recently voted to allocate an additional $10.3 billion to ICE. And the Senate is supposed to vote on it. Now, you're seeing this on Saturday and Sunday. We're taping a couple days ahead. So, given the unchecked behavior of ICE agents in general, are you okay with the additional funding? And will the Senate pass it? Should they pass it? Dave?
Well, given that their budget was gutted during the Biden administration, I think they need the funding in order to do the job that they were hired to do.
Don?
I think probably there needs to be some parameters established about what they really are trying to do. So I'm probably not in favor, but I do think the Senate will likely pass it.
All right, Bob.
I'm not in favor. The mission was supposed to be going after the worst of the worst. They've gone far beyond that, pushed by Stephen Miller for quotas. They don't need more money. They need to get their act together.
All right, and then maybe more money if they do, with some oversight. An increasing number of companies are giving out what's referred to as peanut butter raises to employees. That's when employers give the same raise or bonuses to all workers regardless of their performance. In other words, they're spreading the money around, thus the phrase, spreading the money around to everyone, whether they deserve a raise or bonus or not. Guys, are you okay with these kinds of bonuses and raises? Dave Briggs.
Not really. If you give a 3% bonus across the board, the person who's doing the most work is going to get 3%. The person who's doing the least work is getting 3%. I think there should be some compensation for the quality of work.
Don Martin.
Yeah, it's usually kind of a mixture. I think there are such things as cost of living raises. When people are meeting the average threshold of performance, you get a cost of living, but then you can have a separate pool for bonuses.
All right, Bob.
I agree with Don. At Randolph Community College, I would take the money I was given for raises, take maybe half of that and spread that out for cost of living, then take the other half and do performance raises.
All right, finally, and this one's for Dr. Don Martin, who went to Duke. Duke University recently threatened to sue its star quarterback for wanting to go to another college. Guys, this is a split question very quickly. What college did you attend? And would your school have sued to keep you there, Dave?
Well, I attended Muskingum College, a small private Presbyterian school for small private Presbyterians. They wouldn't
have tried. Don, would Duke have tried to sue to keep you?
Well, my contract was only for about $500,000, so they probably wouldn't have.
Bob.
I went to College of the Ozarks out in southwest Missouri. They'd have been more likely to pay me to take my diploma and go home.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have, except for this. Last week, a man in Los Angeles robbed a laundromat and fled. The police finally caught up with him, and they tried to get him to confess, but he wouldn't come clean.
Okay.
See, he robbed a laundromat.
I got it.
Come clean.
I'm glad you guys aren't coming back next week.
Yeah.
But I hope everyone else will come back next week, including Melissa. You can't see Melissa and Cardi back there. TJ's off today. Melissa's fiance Lance is here.
That's great.
He might come back next week. All right, we'll see you next week.